Welcome to the Michael Singer podcast, presented by Sounds True, in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information about Michael Singer's work, access to all prior episodes, and information about upcoming releases, we invite you to join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com.
Jagradav, Jam Masters. We talk a lot about mind. Let's take a step back. On the spiritual path, which is your life, mind can be the greatest gift or the greatest curse. And that's the truth. So it's that mind is not the problem. Mind is an infinite, capable device that you have access to that can do anything. Depends on what you're doing with it. If what you do with your mind is become very little, what does that mean? Your frame of reference is what determines how emotional problematic you are. I did, as you know, most of you know, I did like 30 years of prison work, maximum security prison, and they're locked in a cell, very small cell. Some are with multiple people, some in solitude. Doesn't matter. We had a guy, he used to fight a lot. He was a beautiful soul, but he used to fight a lot and not be able to come to class. So I asked him, what happened? And one time he told me, somebody moved my comb. Now, most of you don't know exactly where you left your comb, okay? I guarantee you, I put you in a small cell. You spend your time there all the time. It matters that somebody moves your comb, like somebody stole your house. You understand that? Your frame of reference has to do with your mind. So if your mind says, I'm this small, all I am, I have nothing. I have my body, I have a couple of books, and I have my comb and my shoes, and I know where I put them very carefully. And if anybody messes with them, they're in big trouble. Okay, now most of you, frame of reference is not that small, all right? But you see where I could use the example where you would start to have trouble. Okay? Who was in my house? Wait a minute. That's where I left it. Oh, well, my husband came home early. Whatever it is, right? You have trouble in your frame of reference. You don't do that with my house or her house, right? You've developed a frame of reference with your mind that is rather small. And if anything within that frame of reference isn't the way you defined it to be, which that's your mind, okay? It is what it is, but no, your mind has another idea. Reality is the comb is where it is. Reality is your vase where it is. Reality is there it is. But that is not what you're looking at. You're looking at what you did with your frame of reference and defined where everything fits, what it's supposed to be like, and everything. You did that with your mind. That's when the mind is the biggest curse, because you've limited yourself to what it decided, to what you decided there. And it's just not going to match. And you're going to have all kinds of problems. And you got to try and make it match. And you have to buy insurance and put bars on the windows and find out who did what and hire the private detectives and all kinds of stuff. Right? Where was your husband? And why wasn't he home at the same time? And what was he up to? You hear me? That's because you defined yourself and your life very, very small. You say, well, it's not small. Now we're going to use why life can be the greatest blessing. Why am I saying your life is small? I tell it to you all the time, and I know you don't get it, and you maybe never will, but I pray that you will. You have experiences in your life. You weren't born yesterday. You had experiences. You know things. I have asked you before to dare to use your mind to answer the following question. When you're having an experience, just any experience you have, how many are you not having that are going on everywhere else? That's how small your life is. It's the sum of your learned experiences. That's what psychology tells you. That your ego, your psyche, your personal mind is the sum of its learned experiences, isn't it? What else do you know? Nothing. And I'm telling you that any one experience you're having at that moment, there are 700 billion zillion other experiences going on that you're not having. Then have another experience. Same thing. Another experience, same thing. If you had had one of those other 700 billion zillion that you weren't having, the sum of your learned experience would be different. Now, I normally at this point say to you, therefore, you know nothing. Statistically, you know 1 out of 700 billion zillion every second of your life. You're missing everything. And if you had had a different experience, your frame of reference would be different. Your mindset would be different. Your opinions would be different. Your views would be different. Your hopes would be different. Your views would be different. Or do you not think that's true? Do you think somehow you're some powerful person who made up your own self? You did not. You had experiences. You picked from them, some more important than others. That's even worse. If I put you outside, there's trees, there's grass, there's animals, there's weather, all kinds of things, right? And there's a snake. Guess what experience you're having? Not the trees, not the weather, not the clouds, not the other animals. You're having a snake experience. And that's what you're going to carry for the rest of your life. You didn't even have the whole experience. You had the one you picked. Of the nothing that you saw and experienced, you picked the one tiny part of it. How small did you make this place? It's the truth. You defined your frame of reference to nothing. You're just like that inmate. Now, if things are not the way you define them within that frame of reference, you're in trouble, are you not? And if they are the way you define them in that frame of reference, you're happy as could be, having a good old time. That's nothing. I'm not calling you nothing. You're a very great being. That stuff is nothing. What you did with your mind to frame that and say, this is my life. These are the people in my life. How many? Your family, 3, 4, 5, your friends, 20, 30, 40. Oh, you're a big person. There's 1,000 of them. There's 8.3 billion people on the planet Earth. How many are part of your life? Nothing. You have to wake up and realize what you've done with your mind is absurd. And that is why you're suffering. That is why it's difficult. That's why you have turmoil. That's why you can't make decisions. Of course you can't make decisions. You have no information. Sure I do. No, you don't. You just have nothing. I told you, here's the way to really feel it. There's going to be an election somewhere at some time, right? And you're going to vote, but you want to find out who's going to win. So you asked her. And now you know who's going to win because you asked her. Who's going to vote for? That's what you did with everything. You took the nothing information that and I'm telling you, I'm not trying to degrade you. I'm trying to wake you up. You took the nothing information that you have stored in there from the statistically insignificant moments that you've experienced, put them together and said, I know what's going on. You do not. Okay? And this is tough because you feel you know what's going on. In fact, you feel you have evidence that you're right. Of course you do. That's the data you have. Everything matches it. Well, that's hilarious. I'm going to get myself the finest computer that could ever live, and I'm going to put one piece of data in, the number 3. And I'm going to ask them a question. 3? Not 3. How many people in there are 3? How far away is Mars? 3. That's what you've done. And if you ask that computer, like we're supposed to, ChatGPT, we're supposed to ask it, are you sure you checked everything? Or I want to know I can trust your answer. It'll say, I trust every single thing I know. The answer's 3. That is what you are doing inside your head. You only have a certain amount of data in there. Therefore, when you check for your opinion, for what you want, what you like, what you don't like, what should be right, what somebody should have done, it's all based on your little experiences. How do you know anything? You don't know what people want. You don't know what they don't want. If they tell you what they want, you better check every second because it changes constantly. The minute you have another experience, your frame changes, doesn't it? Can your little model that you built in there is very small. Can it change on the drop of a hat? Can somebody wear a bow tie when they come to pick you up on a date and your uncle, who you didn't like at all, was a bow tie person? How are you doing? Did your opinion change with that person? How hard is it to change what's going on in there? Any moment can do it. Therefore, nothing you have in there is truth. Nothing. You just have the relative truth based on what experience you've had. And you tell people, I wasn't born yesterday. I know what people are like. I had a family. I had a bunch of brothers and sisters. I know what that's like to have a bunch of kids. You know one experience. Oh, I'm going to cry. Do you not understand what I'm telling you? Do you not do that? Because you think you have no choice. It's all I have. Well, is it all I have? I better act on it. No, I don't think so. If it's all you have, you better check the statistical significance of it, and you're going to find out it's nothing. Mind is wonderful. It's what you did with your mind. You use it to collect those meaningless moments. Wouldn't it be nice if you're having a moment and your mind said, hey, there are lots of other moments going on, it's just one you're having. I told you once, you will wake up to the point, if you're standing somewhere and someone's yelling at you, they are not yelling at you. They are not yelling at you. You just happen to be standing on a spot in the planet Earth where somebody's yelling. You're the one who said they're yelling at me. Hello, they're just yelling. And I guarantee you, by the way, you listen to me, they're not yelling at you. They are not, ever. They are yelling because of their past experiences, which you know nothing about since they were born. All the experiences they had have accumulated into their frame of reference. You maybe said something or didn't say something, wore something, didn't wear something, who the heck knows? And it hit that stuff. And that stuff is yelling. It's not at you. They don't know you. They don't know what you did 5 hours ago or 2 minutes. They don't even know anything about you. How you like that? People have been married for 20 years. You don't know anything about that person. You don't know anything. You found that out, didn't you? Were you there having every experience that they had throughout their life before you met them? Then how do you think that after 3 weeks you know them? You can't possibly. I'm trying to wake you up. This is the misuse of mind, but everybody's doing it because they don't know they have an alternative. You should sit there and understand that person that you're going on a date with, that person you're married to, you don't know anything about them. They went to work today. Did you go with them? They had experiences. They got a letter. They got a phone call. Did you have all that experience with them? No. Therefore, you don't know the sum of their learned experiences. Plus, any experience they had, they process it through all their previous experiences, didn't they? What you do is you know your stuff. I guarantee you, you project it onto the other person. You say things like, how could you say that to me? I would never say something like that to you. That's the stupidest thing I ever heard of. Of course you wouldn't. You had totally different experiences than I did. You wouldn't even dawn on you to say something like that. But my mother used to say it all the time to me. Did your mother say that? No. I was an orphan. I told you. Some people say, do I do retreats? You don't want me to do a retreat. Because I would just sit here and talk like this constantly for 3 days until you get it. Is it the truth what I'm saying? Isn't it stupid that we're doing this? And do we have any wonder why it's so hard to live and interact with other people? Nobody sees it the same. But they think, whatever. Okay, that is when mind is a problem. You have used mind to lie to you. You've used mind to build a collection of data that is infinitesimally small. It is meaningless. Here, you had a real traumatic experience when you were young. Your parents died, something happened, someone mistreated you, okay? Did it affect your life? Yes. How long did the experience last? 2 minutes, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, a day, okay? What if it didn't happen? Would you be a different person? Your mind would be completely different. That's absurd. It affected every other moment you had. You looked through that veil. So this is spirituality. It's called waking up. This thing I'm listening to in there, it may be the only thing I have, which it's not, by the way, but it may be the only thing I have. It is not worth listening to. Has it ever been wrong? Has your mind ever told you something was going on that it wasn't? Has your mind not told you that something was going on that you wished it did? Okay, it doesn't know. It can't know. One, it's not psychic, so it can't know the future. And two, it totally stored the past as if it was the beginning and meaning of all of life. All right, that's the personal mind. And you got one, don't you? And you listen to it all the time. It's so cute. And then you say things like, it's not just my mind, I feel it in my heart. Have you noticed that the mind can make the heart feel things? Have you noticed you can have a thought and all of a sudden your heart hurts? You have a thought, all of a sudden it's exciting. These things are in cahoots. It's a conspiracy. That's because the Shakti flow is tied together. It flows from the mind to the heart. It flows from the heart to the mind. Do you understand that? So don't come to me and say, I felt it in my heart. It's deeper than that. So there's the problematic mind and the problematic heart, by the way. The personal heart is the same way. No, I know what I feel. You tell me that when the boyfriend dumped you in high school, it doesn't affect how you feel now. Of course it does. So you can't trust the heart either. But it's all I have. It's not all you have. It is all you have, just like the inmate. The comb and shoes are all they have. That's all you have when you limit your frame of reference to your experiences, which are nothing, aren't they? I'm sorry, I'm not insulting you. All right? You have experienced nothing compared to everything that was going on. So you wake up and you realize, all right, what else could I do? There are lots of other things you could do. Do you hear me? And that's the spiritual path. There are lots of techniques. I'm just talking about a very basic technique called reality. Can your mind think about the Andromeda galaxy? You see it spiraling out there? Can it think about Mars? Can it think about a person in China? Can it think anything you want? There's no limit to what your mind can think about. You can even make things up in your mind. Think about what it's like on higher planes when you go to, you can do anything you want with your mind. But instead, you do this stupid thing I just talked to you about. You allow the input from your senses to determine your mind. You know what Einstein said? The greatest hampering to scientific knowledge are the five senses because they lie to you. They tell you this is reality. It's not. It's just what your senses picked up. You know life, don't you? You don't know life. You know what the senses picked up at that moment. If you have a telescope and you can look over the whole universe, it's much bigger, isn't it? Is that bigger? Why don't you do that with your mind? And that's what I'm going to talk about. Can you live like that? Is this the limit, this body and its experiences? And I'm conscious of that, and therefore that's my reality. It is not reality. Like all the stuff you gathered over the course of your life that Freud says you suppressed and held together, causing all your emotions and problems, right? Yeah, are they reality? You experience them, but how can you call them reality? There are 700 billion other things going on at the same time. That's what reality is. That's not limited to you, is it? Why'd you make yourself so small? And go back to the guy, the prison inmate. Pretty small life, wasn't it? How's yours? Pretty small life. Just the fact that everybody else is doing the same thing doesn't make it right. Your mind is way bigger than what you have done with it. And more important, the consciousness is infinite. Your indwelling being, you, the self, the Atman, has no limits. It's God. It's infinite, expansive. Well, why don't I feel it? Because you're staring at that limited thing that you call your mind and your heart and your emotions and your body. If I stare at that, then that's what I'm experiencing. That's all I am. If you stare at something long enough, that's your life. Go into a room and stare at a picture for 3 hours. What was your experience for those 3 hours, that picture? Does that mean that was all that's going on? No, everything else was going on, but you didn't experience it. You limited your consciousness to that experience. Is that not what you've done with your senses? Your five senses picked up a tiny part of Einstein's time-space continuum each moment, and you said, that's my picture. I stared at it, therefore that's reality. And it is your reality to you because you allowed your mind to get programmed like that. All right. When can mind be a blessing? When you free yourself from doing that. How? I give it to you all the time. You can find your own way to do it. All right. One, we just said this. There's 8.3 billion people on the planet Earth. You think you understand people? You think you know people? You think you're an important person? Stop it. Wake up. It's called waking up. Okay. I do it with the universe because it's always moved me and people write me. It helps them. You're probably tired of it, right? 1.3 million Earths inside the sun. You just stop there. How important are you? How big are you on the planet? 6 square feet, okay? And 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun, and there's 300 billion stars in your one galaxy. How important are you? I know you want to be important. I know you don't like me talking to you like that. You answer me. How important are you? Nothing. And you suffer because you want to make yourself seem important, and you're not. Earth's been here for 4.5 billion years. How long are you going to be here? I'm glad you're laughing. It's almost not funny. It's such a joke. You're going to be here for, 80 to 100 years. It's been here for 4.5 billion, and you think you're important. I want to make my mark. What mark? Here. I need a microscope to see any mark you will ever make. either in time or space. And the earth has just been here for 4.5 billion. This cycle of creation, as best as we know, 13.8 billion years. And you're struggling to be recognized, to be understood. You want to be understood, don't you? I want people to recognize me. I want them to understand me. I want them to love me. And who is this me? That tiny little thing you built in there. You're way bigger than that. You're way bigger than that. Well, why would I want to think like that? Because it liberates your soul. It frees you to wake up in the morning and say, I'm back. And guess what's going to happen today? I'm going to have some experiences, aren't I? Well, that's fun. Who the heck cares what they are? And we'll talk about why you do. No, I want you to feel it up high. How would you like to live like that? Every moment of your life, you had some experiences. They're not important. There's other ones going on, but these are the ones you're having. Are you having fun with them all? You can't handle the experiences. Therefore, you build the model based on your past experiences, which are nothing, and you project it out and you say, it needs to be like this. You didn't treat me that way. You need to be like that. Don't do that. Blah, 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 blah. And you go struggle, you suffer, you struggle to try and make the outside world match what you made up in your mind. Don't you? Is it fun? No. No, it's not fun. Do you have to live like that? No. Do you have to be rich to not live like that? Of course not. Do you have to be married to not live like that? No. Do you have to be young? No. No, it's about mind at this point when I'm talking to you. It's about what you're doing with your mind. You could be 80 years old. You could be 15 years old. You could be a male. You could be a female. But basically, it can be anything you want, can't it? Just don't limit it to this definition of yourself, which is so small, and it's not even the truth. It's not what's going on. So what does that do? You wake up in the morning and you say, I'm back. Hey, look, the dresser's still there. Hey, look, the bed is still there. I've discussed with you. That is not a given. I'll do it very quickly. This is when you use your mind. That's all my mind does is this. I trained it a long time ago. Okay? So what do you mean the dresser's there and the bed's there? Of course they are. What do you mean of course they are? Who made the atoms stay in the same place? Do you know what it takes for that thing to still be there? Essentially, you go down to the quantum level. There's just these little vibrations in a quantum field, turning into quarks, leptons, and bosons, turning into electrons and protons, turning into atoms, turning into this and this, and then there's gravity. And all of that is necessary to keep happening. It's not true that God created heaven and earth. It is being created every single second. If that wasn't happening, that dresser ain't there, is it? Use your mind for something greater than you, than the personal self. It's kind of neat, isn't it? So imagine waking up and saying, wow, the quantum field kept vibrating. It's very complicated. Quantum mechanics and quantum physics are very, very difficult. And it's doing that down there, right? And it comes up and it makes everything. Is it not true that all has to be happening for that to still be there? Wow. Wow. Are you grateful? Did you wake up and say, wow, thanks, dresser? You should. Did you wake up and say, wow, the gravitational force of the earth is exactly right to where it doesn't get too close to the sun or to get too far away? Did you ever wake up and realize, whoa, while I was sleeping, 35 trillion individual living cells made up my body. You have a living body, you have living cells. Liver cells, kidney cells, skin cells, all of them. And they're all doing something all the time. They're breathing, they're doing everything. You're not doing anything. What are you doing to have a body? Nothing. Do you understand that 35 trillion cells are making up your body all the time, communicating with each other, doing every single thing to make the system work? When's the last time you said thank you? This is what I'm talking about. How would you like your mind to do that for you? They say to you that gratitude is a very spiritual state. Not gratitude because somebody gave you something. Not gratitude because you prayed and it happened. Gratitude is the law of attraction worked and you got what you wanted. No, that's still using the personal mind. You're still sitting there saying, it's what I want. Look, it happened. I'm grateful. Great. Once in a blue moon, you're grateful. How can you not have gratitude? This is happening by itself with you not doing anything. So you wake up in the morning and you have gratitude that reality exists and you get to be part of it and you get to experience it and things are going to happen today. Who cares? I got to go back to that because that's the problem, right? Well, who cares, right? I woke up and I have experience at breakfast and lunch. I'm thinking the toothbrush worked. It didn't work. I don't know. I went to work and this happened and George said this. All kinds of things happen. It's a happening place. You want to use your mind? You're now using your mind saying, well, what if I don't want to happen? What if I want doesn't happen? There you are. Back to the personal mind. See it? Right? You bring it right back to the model you made inside the mind. Instead of using your mind to be expansive, you use your mind to be completely contracted down to me. And so you go there and you suffer. And you don't enjoy your life. And you think you have to get things and do things to enjoy your life. No, you have to stop doing something to enjoy your life. You have to stop. I'll teach you how. But you have to stop hanging out with this stupid little contracted ingrown toenail for a mind. Right? That only thinks about I, me, mine, and what I want and what I don't want and how to get it that way and so on. And then you come out into the world and what you do is you sit there and say, I'm going to have fun. Go to Mars. There's so many ways you can do this. I want you to go to Mars. I want you to go by yourself. I'll send you up there. Go to Mars, land. Okay, having fun? I'm here. Hey, I'm the first person. Fine. Now what? You are going to be so bored. There's nothing happening on Mars. I told you, at some point, you're there for a few days. A roach runs by. Maybe it came up with you in the spaceship, right? I don't know. But a roach runs by. You go chasing that roach. You don't chase the roach to kill it or catch it. To make friends. There's another living thing here that moves on its own. Okay? Is that your experience here on Earth? Well, last time I had a day like that. Never. There's colors and shapes and sounds and tastes. Oh my God. Every moment, every place. There's everything. Is there not? But guess what? It doesn't match what you want. Does it? It doesn't match what you want. It doesn't behave itself. Based on who? Right? There are some people out there, a lot of people at wars, all kinds of stuff, that want things to be their way. And they think they're right because those are their experiences. Don't judge other people. You can work with it, right? But you start with the point. Somebody, I don't know what you say names, right? But, some people had political backgrounds. I'm talking about Putin right now, right? Well, it's okay. I accept. It used to be USSR. There was all these different countries that were part of his thing. So that's his experience, not yours, not mine. I'm not saying you should do what he's doing. You understand? That's the difference. But you have to accept that his mind doesn't work like yours. And you start waking up to realize they don't think like you. And it makes the place very interesting, doesn't it? Let's take 8.3 billion of you that every single one had totally different experiences. No one has the same experience as you. No one that ever lived, is living, or ever will. Now put them together on a little planet and let's see what happens. And I go, there it is happening. Okay, this is what it means to transcend judgment. This is what it means to practice compassion, true compassion. Do I want him doing what he's doing? Of course, I think it's terrible. Okay, but can I understand that his mind is different than mine? And he thinks he's right, just like you think you're right and I think I'm right. Okay? So basically, you're sitting there and you understand you got it made. You live on a planet where what happens? A body was given to you that makes itself. It was a single cell. One single cell. What scientist or what doctor invented how to make that cell take Twinkies and Coca-Cola and sun and water and by itself, with nobody else, make a body? Did it do that? Or did the mother do it? Answer me. Some of you guys had kids. Did you do that? Did you make that cell into a body? I know you like to think you did. Wake up. So a single cell, and you say, oh, no, I understand. I went to school. It's not the same. It's DNA inside the cell. What is DNA? A chain of molecules. Well, what made that? Now it's even further out. It's not even a living cell made it. A chain of chemical molecules are sitting there put together that knows how to make the pancreas and the skin and the thing and put them all together. Oh, nice chain of molecules. Where did it come from? Wake up. And all you're doing is complaining. Why nothing ever happens good for me? Oh, really? is I'm contrasting the personal mind, what you did with your personal mind, with what mind is capable of doing. Which is nicer? Like when you get in that shower in the morning, you think twice of what you're washing. These are cells, living cells, that are providing a body for you. Your blood cells, your liver cells, your kidney cells, your nerve cells, every single one of those things, a living cell, devoting their lives. I learned a word when I was CEO of the company. I gave a lecture to all these executives in the company like that. And basically, I talked about organizational structure. And I asked them, what is the most phenomenal organizational structure that anyone has ever created, to perfect for communication, for progress, for everything like that, right? And they asked this and that, IBM or GE had a phenomenal, what's the name, right? So and I just kept listening. I kept listening. And then somebody said, the military, they have structure on that. I said, it's the human body. Every single morning, 45 trillion workers show up. And they talk to each other and communicate with each other. Your nose doesn't fall off. But the biggest one I learned when I was studying for that lecture is a word called apoptosis. Ever heard it? I'm probably not saying it properly. Is it right? Close enough? Apoptosis. What does that mean? If one of those cells on its own feels it isn't healthy enough and strong enough to participate in the organ that's being created, it drops out to leave room for another cell. By itself, it drops out of the system. Last time he said, thank you. Is this phenomenal? Is it okay if I talk to you like this? Your mind is capable of doing this, but instead you do that and you suffer for it. You locked yourself in this tiny little thing. So you start being grateful for your body. You sit there and you think it's neat to have good food. It means nothing. When you swallow it, that's what matters. And you don't do any of that. What breaks it down, right? What takes the carbon into this and sends it to the right place? And oh my God, there's so much goes on down there in order to keep it alive. Did you know you're actually eating to feed the cells? You think you're eating to feed yourself. You're not. So you expand your frame of reference to include reality. And I talked to you about the fact that you're sitting on a planet. This is an amazing, yes, there's wars, yes, there's terrible things, yes, there's all kinds of things. At least there's something. Well, maybe you'd like to go to Jupiter. It's all gas. Don't think about it. You drop right through. Most of the planets are gaseous. And if they're not, they're just rocks and fire. And go to Venus or Mercury. Are you kidding me? And you're on this planet with all these people and things. And some things that some people said to me once, and one person said to me that I will never forget. He doesn't know how it affected me. It just affected me, all right? I was very, very successful lawyer. And he read the surrender experiment. So very lawyerly, right? He talks to me afterwards. So I read, I was very open, just like a lawyer, all right? he laid out his case, right? I was very open. I read it, took it in. I found it fascinating. I read it, tried to be open, read the data, all right? And I got to the end, and I put it down. And I decided that it didn't change me at all, right? That's how I look at it. And I said, okay, how do you look at it? He said, I look at it very clearly. This is how I look at it. Nothing good happens unless you force it to. Oh, my heart just melted. I was like, holy mackerel. Nothing good happens in this world unless you force it to. You're right, the cells don't divide, sun doesn't shine, your food doesn't digest. You drop a corn kernel on a piece of dirt and it makes a whole corn stalk by itself. Nothing good happens in this world unless you force it to, all right? But I respect what he's saying. What he's saying from the personal mind point of view, nothing good's going to happen the way I think it should unless I make it do it. You can relate to that, can't you? Nobody's going to love me unless I dress a certain way, act a certain way, have a certain car, behave a certain way, smell a certain way, look a certain way, get the nose job. No one's going to love me unless I make them. And if they love me, I have a job to keep them loving me. I need to find out. Anybody have any insecurity in their relationships or have ever had it? Give me a break because you think you need to do it. You think they love you because you behaved a certain way, because you act a certain way, because you gave to them a certain way, because you did things for them. And come on, you have to do things. You hear me? You have to earn it. Okay? Well, that's what he's saying. Nothing good happens unless I force it to. That's how ego thinks. But what it's really saying is nothing happens the way I want it to, the way I think it should, unless I use my will, unless I force it to. Can you relate to it? You understand that? Deep inside, do you understand that? And I just got through giving you a talk telling you everything happens without you doing any of it. Do you keep the planet in orbit? Do you keep the sun just right, so the temperature doesn't go very much above 103, 105, right? How about 740,000? Okay? Do you keep yourself from falling in a black hole? Hey, how come you don't fall through the earth? Why do you not fall through the earth? You stand up? I stood up. You did not make yourself be able to stand on that floor. I told you once before, it's not anything like you think it is, but you should think about it. The bottom of my foot is made of atoms. Atoms have a shell of electrons on the outside of every single atom. The floor is made of atoms. Every single atom has a shell of electrons. Electrons have what charge? Negative. All of them? All of them. What happens when two negative poles of a magnet push against each other? That's what's happening. That is why you don't fall through the floor. Because something's repelling. But why doesn't it break? They're just bound together because of these things called covalent and whatever they're called, bonds. And in wood, there are more tighter, stronger bonds than your foot. Therefore, you jump too hard, the foot will break instead of the floor. Unless the floor breaks, then it goes. See what I'm saying? All that's happening is nothing. And by the time you pass all the bonds down with all the atoms, well, then there's just empty space. How come when I jump up and down, the earth doesn't move? I just transferred the weight right down. Well, I don't know. There's stuff called gravity and centrifugal force. As it orbits, it creates that force of staying in place. That's why you didn't fall through, and that's why the earth didn't fall. Think of these things all day. Be grateful. Understand the truth. Use your mind for something meaningful instead of using it to destroy your life by locking you in where the comb matters. It all matters to you, doesn't it? Oh my God, I dropped some ketchup on my pants. Really? And where are your pants? On the planet Earth, and there are 1.3 million Earths inside the sun, and the sun, there's 300 billion suns in one galaxy, and there's 2 trillion galaxies. Oh, there's ketchup on my pants. How would you like to think like that all the time? What if you went out to your car? It doesn't happen anymore. Cars are good. My day, you go to the car, sometimes it didn't start. Right? But if you went out there, you're trying to go to work, you start the car. And you say, oh boy, I get to meet mechanics today. Oh boy, I don't go to work. It's like, why are you not having fun here? And lots of people to meet and things to see. What if you get sick? Nowadays, you get sick. It's a fascinating journey. You find you see CT machines and MRI, boom, 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 and you get things and all kinds of exams, and there's doctors and nurses in big hospitals. Wow, what a place you live in. It's phenomenal. But it's not what you want. Do you understand that? It's not the way you want it to be because you formulated how you want it to be based on your past experiences. The hospital doesn't know a darn thing about your past experiences, nor should it. Nor does a doctor or a nurse or anything like this, right? It's not personal. It's just life. It's God giving everywhere is everything. It's phenomenal, right? It's phenomenal that it exists. It's phenomenal you get to interact with it. What does it cost for you not to fall through the floor? Nothing. What does it cost for your lungs to go down? Nothing. What does it cost for the air? Nothing. It's all free. You know what's not free? What you want. Okay? That's not free. It's you made up how you want it to be. And like that lawyer said, it's not going to be the way you want unless you make it be that way. You know that, don't you? You got to take what you want. You have to manipulate, control. Okay? Well, you got 2 choices. Live like that or decide, I'm happy to be alive. I'm happy that I woke up in the morning. I used to give a talk. What if you woke up in a society that didn't know that the breath would go in and out by itself and the heart would beat by itself? And your mother told you, listen, most important thing, make sure you're doing this throughout your life because that heart don't beat, you're dead. There's a number of times you stop that, you're going to die, right? And what if everybody thought they had to do this? And everybody's doing it. They're definitely going to die if you don't do it. There's no question about it. Hearts to beat, long to go in and out. How else are they going to happen by themselves? What are you, crazy? What's wrong with you? Nothing good happens unless you force it to. Get to work. So the whole society is like that, and they have little time to do some other work, not very much. They can be very productive. And then all of a sudden, somebody who's very bold says, what if I don't do it? And everybody told him, don't you dare. Don't you crazy? So he went away into the woods. I don't want to keep doing this. I'm going to test it. And he stopped doing it. Whoa. It goes in and out by itself. Nobody knows that. Nobody knows that. And when he went in back to tell them, they killed him. What's wrong with you? How could you're a wizard? Don't you tell people things like that? That's awful. Don't you talk to my child? Don't you teach that in school? Can't keep away from him. They would do that. Do you understand that? And yet you find out that it will go on by itself. Guess what? Everything goes on by itself, except for what you decide doesn't. Some people have a dog or a cat. They let it live outside. It goes about its business. Some people would never, ever let their little doggy outside. Or the little cat. Are you crazy? There's animals out there. It can't fend for itself. It's a domesticated animal. That's just... See, we're doing that, aren't we? Okay? So this is called waking up. Little by little, dare to check it out. Dare to sit there and say, I'm okay, without things being the way I want. It's because I want them to be a certain way. That's why I'm not okay. There's probably 1,000 things that she couldn't care less about that are most important to me. Well, I hope I'm higher than that by now. All right. 10. Okay? You could care less about it. So-and-so didn't call back. Who? Who cares? It's because you decided to care about that it's bothering you, and now it has to be the way you want. And now we're going to get into very deep teachings. You mean I have to not care? Not the way you're thinking, but yes. Not, you do care, but I say I don't care. I couldn't care less whether you like me or not. You do whatever you want. I couldn't care less. Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not saying you do care, but you suppress it. I'm saying you wake up and you realize she doesn't like the rain. I'm fine with it. She doesn't like cold. I think cold's neat. She doesn't like hot. I think hot's neat. It's cold, you get to bundle up. That's how you get to take it off. It's rainy, you get to see where the food comes from for Publix. If it doesn't rain, there's no food in there. In other words, what if you decided it's okay? It's okay the way it is. It doesn't have to be the way I want it to be. That's the I don't care that I mean. Not I do care, but I'm suppressing it. I'm strong enough to... It's that I know I'm okay with it. Why wouldn't I be okay with it? What's wrong with a rainy day? Well, because when I was little, my birthday party was supposed to be outside and it rained. I hate the rain. Oh, I see, because you're screwed up. That's why it's not okay that it's a rainy day. I can tell you because you won't come out here again. There are snakes out here. They're not like, crawling all over the place. All right, don't worry about it. But we have seen coral snakes numerous times. They're very dangerous and deadly. They just crawl by. They don't do a darn thing. They're not aggressive. They don't attack. It's like some of you guys grew up in Miami and different places where there's an ocean. You don't think twice about going swimming in that ocean. There are sharks in the waters. Do you know that? There are sharks there. There are people that would never, ever get in that ocean. They see their jaws. Am I right or wrong? It's your frame of reference. It's what you did with your mind. And you've limited yourself and locked yourself up. How about daring to realize if I was okay that maybe I see a snake someday, that's okay. I just be careful. I don't have to not take a walk in the woods. I don't have to not live in Arizona. I'm free. I don't care. I don't care because I'm okay with it. Now, I do care, but I'm suppressing it. He doesn't like me. Okay? Ugh. Why? What did I do? How can I change? Okay, he doesn't like me. Okay. Somebody doesn't like me. That's a true, I don't care. I don't care what you think about. You see the difference? Do you see the difference? Feel it. How would you like to not care at that level? I'm okay. I'm okay. There are people that will never fly in a plane because they've seen plane accidents. You've heard that. Well, what do I do with that person? They will prove to me with statistics that planes do crash. And when they crash, hundreds and hundreds of people die. Okay? What do I say to that person? It will not happen? I don't know what's going to happen. I can show them statistics that say you're more likely to die in a car accident than a plane, way more, but that doesn't do it for them. They have to at some point say, I want to go visit my grandchildren. If it crashes, it crashes. I'm okay. Do you know how many drunk drivers are out there? And I don't just mean drunk, drugs, this, that, whatever it is. Way more than you want to think. And they're going 60 miles an hour, 7 miles an hour down the expressway, same as you. Hear me? And they just had a drink. Whew. There's some people say you take your life in the hands every single time you get on the road. And by the way, I'm not trying to make you neurotic here. So don't do that out of what I'm telling you. You literally have to be saying, I don't care. If you think about it, you'll care. But in general, you're saying, okay. It's like, I got to drive. It's worth it. How's that? That's what you ultimately say. It's worth it. Okay? I want you to say that about everything. It's worth it to be free. It's worth it to enjoy your time here on earth, no matter what's going on. Does that mean I just leave it alone? No. No, you come down here and you interact with it. You can have opinions, you can have politics and so on, right? But you're not freaking out over it. It's not ruining your life. It's fun. You're marching. You have an opinion. Great. Have fun. This person has the opposite opinion. Good. You said that? It's not like your job is to manipulate and control everybody. You can't possibly do that, can you? Because they are the sum of their learned experiences. So go there and march and love the guy on the other side. You have to tell them. They don't want to hear from it. That's what Christ meant. Love enemies. They're different than you. Their minds are different. But you got out. Everything I've talked about so far today is about getting out. Out of what? Out. I want you to get out of your mind. You didn't know that being out of your mind is a good thing. All right? You want to be out of that personal mind because it cares about every stupid. No, it doesn't care about everything. It cares only about what it cares about, and it cares a lot about that. It cares about what left impressions on it over the course of its moments that it experienced. It cares about its past experiences are the most important. People have said that to me. So why do you talk about all the other experiences? They're not important. I didn't have them. There, that's the personal mind with no distance. What difference does it make to me? I didn't have the experience. It's meaningless to me. It's not important. All that's important is what I experienced. Okay, there you go. How does that feel? I'm asking you to use your will, your mind to expand out to where, one, you respect that everybody had different experiences, but you respect the fact that there's 800 billion experiences going on at the same time. You just are not experiencing them. Okay? And they're just as important. No, they're not. If I pick you up and I drop you down in France at a restaurant, all of a sudden that experience is the most important experience in the world? To you, it is. That's hilarious. Pick you up, put you somewhere else. It was going on before you got there. It's been going on for thousands of years. I've just defined for you as best I ever did before. Now do you see ego? That's pretty embarrassing, isn't it? Like, wherever I am is all that matters. Really? But if you put me somewhere else, then that's what matters. Did you know that there's a whole bunch of events going on behind you that you don't experience? Every minute of your life? Turn around, you have a different one. It means to wake up. Stop saying that what you've experienced is more important than any other experience in Einstein's time-space continuum. Every one of them is the same. They're what's happening at that place, in that moment, in time and space. No one is more important than anything else, is it? Okay, now you got an ego. Just little by little, let it go. How? Expand your frame of reference. Ego can't live in that expanded frame of reference I told you about. If I tell you 1.3 million Earths fit inside the sun, and there's 300 billion suns, stars, and in a galaxy there's 2 trillion galaxies, that's it for ego. It blows your mind. That's where I want it, blown. Now come back and enjoy where you are, because you happen to be on an amazing planet. We've not seen anything like it, have we? We had the James Webb up there. We had the Hubble out there. Well, my God, we see so far. We've tested. We have not seen one sign of anything except dirt and rocks and fire, gas, chemicals. And is that your experience? No. Do you say thank you every moment of your life? No. You only say thank you. You know, when you say, now I see there is a God, why life gave me what I wanted. That's your God? The one that matched the stupid mind you created? Whoa, that's not my God. My God is everything. Everything, every moment, all the time, everywhere, is always was, always will be, the creator of all of creation. And it's always thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now, why can't you do that? I said I would do that. I'll have a minute. In a minute, I can do why I can't do that. Why? Because you can't handle discomfort. Can you? You don't like discomfort, do you? So when he said he didn't like me, if I have an ego, if I built even a little one, right? He cares about what people think about it. I built a self-concept. Okay? That self-concept was people like me. I'm a likable person. And now somebody doesn't like me. How's it feel? How does it feel if you know somebody doesn't like you? Guess what? We are so neurotic. It's not that now you found out somebody doesn't like you, right? Somebody said to you, I overheard so-and-so talking to so-and-so, and I think what I heard was that their girlfriend doesn't like you. Bother you, doesn't it? That neat? You're in trouble. It's because you can't handle what it means to let go of that ego. Because you hang on to it, you invested in it, you defined yourself as it. So spirituality, one, is about expanding the mind to have a much, much bigger frame of reference. But you're going to find out you're difficult doing it. You have to be willing to go through the pain. No pain, no gain. I talk about childbirth. I heard it's rather painful. Yes or no? Have you heard any women tell you it's kind of painful? Okay? And they go back for seconds and thirds and fourths and fifths. Why? It's worth it. You're going through soul birth. When you feel that pain of letting go of that stupid little tiny world that you built, it hurts because you're hanging out there. Just enjoy it. No pain, no gain. It's the pain of, a great master once said to me, it was the pain that ends all pain. Are you willing to be free? That's what it takes. It takes expanding out, and then this thing's going to fall off, as what Christ meant by die to be reborn. You die of the personal self to be reborn in your infinite being, in your expanded self. All right. Whew. Can you tell how sincere I am that you get this? All right. I don't want you to suffer. You don't need to suffer. You're not supposed to suffer. I'm serious. The fall from the garden was when you were up here experiencing everything completely open and you fell down into the personal self. You fell down and I'm the body and I'm my opinions and my views, and now you suffer. And by the way, the Bible says when you fall from the garden, the Bible says the same thing that the lawyer said. What does it say? Now you must work by the sweat of your brow to be okay. That's what he said. Nothing good happens unless you force it to. You see it, don't you? All right. Free yourself. Little by little. Dare to say, I'm okay. Not, I trust God that he'll do what I want. No. I trust the universe to be the way it is. And I'm awed by it, that it even exists. There. That'll liberate you. Jai Gurudev.
You've been listening to the Michael Singer Podcast, produced by Sounds True in partnership with Shanti Publications. For more information on Michael's body of work and all back episodes, please join us at michaelsingerpodcast.com. Thanks so much for listening. Sounds True, waking up the world.